such a feat of engineering, you know, the film. I look at Rodrigo as a bit more of an architect and an engineer than even a director. I mean, sort of all three in one person, but one incredibly short person. But you know, the seven different boxes, of course, they each had a very unique function, and it was just amazing to be a part of that. I mean, I was calling this place home for 17 days, and I can't say that it was the easiest shoot of my life, but certainly worthwhile. And I mean, anything that is, I think, of quality is worth struggle, and that pursuit is definitely, I think, worthwhile for all of us. But you know, I don't want to romanticize it too much and say that the struggle was that difficult or anything like that. But I'll say that I'm glad it's over. So.
Do you have stuff hidden in there with you, like
just anguish, a lot of anguish and desperation. I was like a kid at summer school, at school waiting for summer, crossing off the dates on my calendar when I could get out of the box for good. And yeah, so I was happy to be done.
Nice, thanks. Any questions from the audience? Right here.
I just had a question for Ryan. You did all your acting on the phone. Was it more difficult to do that and a little bit harder to connect with the people, or did you just sort of imagine who you were talking to try and make it real for you?
Yeah, it's a bit of both, to be honest. I had a great actress who came over and read all the parts, and she was amazing. Her name was Warner Laughlin, and she read all the parts for me and really jumped into each one of those characters. And she was in a separate room, so I could actually overlap with her. And for the most part, I had a small sort of almost spyware earwig in that I used to communicate with her, so I could hear her the phone. I wasn't actually speaking on the phone, but towards the end of the film, I have a microphone that's on my chest, and when we were doing those last shots where I'm in all the sand, and there's just a tremendous weight down on my chest of this coffin, and it takes so long to get in and out of it that I just stayed in it. And she could hear my heart rate accelerating in between setups, and I would start to sort of dive into these pseudo panic attacks. I mean, I was trying to keep it together, but you start to actually freak out. And she would start to talk to me. She'd say, you know, just think of you're in a meadow. You're in a wide open meadow. You're looking at the trees, the birds. Now you're at the beach. And I'm like, let's stay away from the sand. Let's go back to the meadow. Remember the meadow? And she'd go back, and she'd kind of calm me down and keep me somewhat sane, and I could actually stay in there wearing this awful shirt made out of sand and wood.
Actually, one of the pleasures you have as a director is that you can mistreat a Canadian star. I can leave it. So I wasn't able to do that. I really enjoyed it.
More questions? Up here in the balcony waving?
For Mr. Sparling, we had a situation with a young woman who was sort of kept in a hole, not in a coffin, in Iraq or Afghanistan, I can't remember. Were there any real-life incidents that sort of got you thinking about this?
Did you draw from any real-life incidents when you wrote this?
Yeah, well, to some extent, nothing about someone being held captive in a hole. No, I'm making a joke. I spoke to a number of contractors that had come back from Iraq, and these were truck drivers that had gone over there, and basically the Paul Conrads. And they told me about their experiences, and they were awful. These are people that, just everyday people that want to support their families. They were sold a bill of goods, told everything was going to be safer over there, their trucks were going to be armored. And in reality, when they got there, that wasn't the case. And now they came under fire, they're injured, they're back home, and they're struggling just to get insurance coverage. They're contacting their employer, and their employer is saying, well, technically, you didn't work for us, you worked for a subsidiary of a subsidiary out of Yemen or wherever, and they're left with nothing. So as far as any sort of inspiration, you know, I learned more and more about the fact that contractors were being taken, and then, like it says in the film, that's one of the few functioning businesses. But the story more so that I wanted to tell was actually that of the contractor, the struggles they were going through. If I were a documentary filmmaker, that's what I wanted to have made. So as a narrative filmmaker and as a screenwriter, that was the story that I wanted to tell.
Over here with the curly hair.
What did the tattoo say on your wrist?
What was your tattoo?
It says, big mistake, you're 21, what are you thinking? What are you doing? This isn't how people take you seriously. It's just my tattoo from when I was a kid. Yeah, I wish it had happened. Hi, Mom.
I'm really sorry to say that we are almost out of time for the Q&A. Does anyone have a really good conclusive question? And just on high notes? You look promising.
I love
Sorry,
okay,
I meant the person in the front with the scarf. Sorry. I meant you, right there, the scarf, yeah. Sorry. Oh, can we have a real question? You.
The sequel? That's called cremation. Sorry, I'm sorry. No, you have to finish the question though.
Would you do a one-man show again?
I'm going to start with that and just say that this kind of script and director and writer and team comes together never. And I was really lucky that this happened. And if I could find anything remotely like this again, I would do anything to jump in and do it. But I think that these are really few and far between.
What he basically means is no.
No.
This is exactly what I was going to answer. So, what about you?
I don't know, maybe. I mean, I guess I'll give it a maybe. Yeah, but like Ryan said, it's about the collaboration. It takes all the pistons firing, kind of the right way at the right time. And we got lucky. We have a great, I don't know, a great engine.
That was great. Thank you so much, guys.